Hello students, in this video we are going to talk about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So flower is the reproductive part of the plant. It contains both male and female reproductive structures. So some flowers they bear only male reproductive structures, some bear only female, some bear both male and female reproductive structures. So all these structures usually they are classified into two types: necessary structures and accessory structures. So if you see the typical flower here, which is shown here, you can see this green colored part. This is called as calyx, and this pinkish region is called as corolla. The another names are sepals and petals. So these two structures we are called as accessory structures. It means they are not required for the process of reproduction, but they have some role in the reproduction. Okay, they don't have any role in the reproduction, but they help in the process of reproduction. Okay, so coming to the other parts, you can see here this is the male reproductive structure. It is called as stamen. And this is the female reproductive structure. This is called as carpel or pistil. Okay, so hope you understood now. These structures are divided into two types: accessory structures and necessary structures. Necessary means which are required for the process of reproduction. Accessory, which are not required for the reproduction, but they help in the process of reproduction. So the necessary structures are Androscium, that is the male reproductive structure, that is nothing but stamen, and Gynoshi is the female reproductive structure, that is nothing but carpel or pistil. So coming to the accessory structures, which are non-essential, which are not required for the process of reproduction, that is calyx and corolla. Nothing but sepals, and this is the petals. So now let us look at the accessory structures and how they are useful. The structures which are not essential but play a typical role. How they are playing typical role? By favoring cross pollination. By favoring the cross pollination. If you see this pinkish colored petal, what is shown in the previous slide, so this will attract the birds, insects, right? So that will help in the cross pollination. It means when an insect travels from one flower to another flower, like whenever a woman enters a rose garden, and she can see the flowers of all colors, all types of rose colored flowers, but she will pick only a one colored flower in first, right? In the same way, the insects will also go to the flower which is looking beautiful for it. So this way the calyx and corolla, particularly the corolla, help in the cross pollination. So they are the calyx and corolla. So then why calyx is important? The calyx is the, we call it as the first whorl of a flower comprising of carpels. Okay. So usually the carpel is attached to it. If you see the diagram, so usually it is the green color structure was like this, and the female reproductive structure was attached to it, right? So this is the carpel. It is being attached to this calyx. So it means why it is important? It is giving support to the female reproductive structure as well as the entire flower. Okay. So it covers and protects the petals as they develop. and the corolla, it will emerge from this region. You can see the picture by going back to the slide. So you can see the petals are inside the sepals. Okay. So coming to the corolla. So this is the second role of a flower. It means second part. So usually we write this is the outer circle as calyx. So this outer circle as calyx, corolla. After that, Androscium, then Gynoecium. So this is how we are going to represent it. Okay. So this is calyx, first outer circle, and this one is corolla. This third one is the Androscium. What is Androscium? Male reproductive structure. And this last inside one is the Gynoecium, which is nothing but the female reproductive structure. So now let us talk about corolla, the second role of a flower, which is comprising of petals. So these are brightly colored and they are helping in the process of cross-pollination. So these are the functions of the accessory structures of a flower. So now let us look at the necessary structures. So when the calyx and corolla are together, that is called as perianth. When the calyx and corolla are together, it is called as perianth. So what are necessary structures? The male and female reproductive structures which play direct role in the process of reproduction, they are called as necessary structures. So first they are Androscium, the second one is the Gynoecium. So what is Androscium? It is the male reproductive structure of a plant. So what it has? It has anther and a filament. This is the filament and this is the anther. Okay. So here the pollen grains are produced. Pollen grains are produced. So this is the third role and male reproductive part of the flower. It is made up of two parts, anther and filament. So the long stalk-like structure, that is called as filament, and the swollen part at the end of the filament, this is the anther. And this anther will produce pollen grains, which upon maturation, they form the male gamete. So now let us talk about Gynoshi. So the innermost wall or the fourth wall is the Gynoecium. So how you can see here, this is the how the Gynoecium looks like, right? So it has three different parts. Stigma. So this region is called stigma. This region is called style. And this region is called ovary. And it contains ovules. So it is made up of three parts as I discussed now. Stigma, style and ovary. So what is stigma? Stigma is you can see the surface area is very high. Why the surface area is very high here? To receive the pollen grains. It is the site which receives the pollen grains and this is usually sticky in nature. Whenever a pollen grains falls on it, it will get attached to it. Why it is getting attached to it? Because of its sticky nature. And next is the style. So this is the style. This is the tube-like structure which is connecting stigma to the ovary. Okay. So whenever a pollen grains falls here, it has to travel to the ovary. So through this style, it will be traveling. So how it is going to travel, we will discuss in the coming videos. So this basal swollen part is called as ovary. and it contains ovules, which are the future seeds. Okay. So now let us look at a few questions. So what is carpel? Write the function. Name the parts ABC. Write the functions of each of the following parts of flowering plant. So these are a few questions. Thank you for watching the video. In the next video, let us talk about pollination and fertilization.